there's been some wide fluctuations in recent years. This really favored the services that access for the good news is that we've been doing this for a while. Last year, we also started this money is actually going to be in the budget. I'll talk to the same point in the DLS. For the committee that we continue to do that. This money that you can get from without up to $6 days is already been based on. The part of that is that this is we're no better than the business we're going to be running. In this state, there are any kind of raising centers to be working services, including crisis centers, domestic violence shelters, child advocacy centers, witness coordinators, court appointed special advocates for children, legal services organizations for victims of survivors of violence and more. So I think this is an important bill to allow these organizations, which will be from they have to thoroughly enter budget to know that this is an ongoing commitment. This is the money that I'm worried that they will put more on the director use and the full budget put their staff together. We can know what to expect. With that, we have experts who are doing amazing work. Some of us who get done and taking over to the Lisa Jordan and Preston that is with us. We also have Ms. Smith with domestic violence and sexual assault center. Joyce Campbell, King's office, Dr. Shapiro is with us. We have a network of defense domestic violence. And when you hire them, children and families. This is just key work.
Thank you so much to Chair Bromwich for all the work that you've done on this project. Thank you also to the committee that I feel thank you for all the good things you've done during the pandemic to help us to fight the work open. Now the budget language that you all have adopted without the action that you have taken, so we have to because we would not survive the whole race of the domestic violence without that concern. What we did is the chair said one of the core sources of funding of sexual assault survivors, the crisis centers, hospital companies, empathy for schools who are sexually assaulted at their schools, protective orders, you'll hear from my colleagues about some of the services that are provided. What's especially important to know is that we have a project funding. I think now everyone's put up the board up so we have let people know what services. This is what services. It is not important. It is the work that will help you. These are the people who are providing services to the constituents and for the folks all across the state of Illinois in every single jurisdiction in the state, local structures, touching your constituents. And the goal is for that instability to make that service fabric of our services being delivered. And that's what's important. At the federal level, the cap for taxpayer money is funding from criminal defendants is down. On the sixth level, and we imagine that for a second, that our Congress in Washington, D.C. had a bipartisan bill that fixed the vote between American and and so eventually, we will no longer solve the into consensus that the text will let the vote back up to the public. Additionally, we just have so many difficulties at the state level. We are faced with chaotic. We heard that great applications that were postponed, people lose about 20% trips to their programs near days before the grant was supposed to start. People are having enormous reporting challenges. Rate crisis centers report that between 25 and 33% of their staff are turning over. And so when those vacancies occur and they don't know if they're going to get funding or not, they just leave those positions open and they continue to assistance. So I can't thank you enough for considering this bill for everything this committee has done in the past. And also, it's notable that Governor Lamar has also allocated after this year. So he's done what this bill will do for its current budget cycle. So with those comments, I hope you listen on my colleagues here at the table, which is a privilege for us to help lead these efforts, and we urge you to move forward on most of these things. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. graphic reflection center that viewers can learn what's happening in the home. I'm in favor of this bill. It will represent much needed federal funding and support for victims of home. Domestic violence and sexual assault center has been providing leadership and leading the boards for domestic violence, sexual assault, as well as feeling safe and racial advocacy. 20 volunteers and staff are available 24 hours. We do crisis intervention, counseling, individual also court advocacy and medical, accompaniment, we do community outreach as well as surrounding housing and other services. I have already provided my testimony. Let me do it in consistency to the kids who came into the program. Applied anyway to the hospital who were told over to do crisis call. We got there and prepared them for the forensic examination. And once we got there, Todd had to be medically cleared. And when we got over, he was bleeding so severely, they didn't know where the bleeding was coming from. But after they completed his exam, the medical clearance to find out that they had to take her into surgery. So he went to surgery for about 2 to 3 hours, getting the test from whatever the rate that abuse was done to her. Not to mention this was a 14-year-old girl. So when he was discharged, we were able to provide some counseling as well as some other needed some assistance. Housing, we were able to provide housing and other activity support. So we have assisted individuals specifically who have been victimized of sexual assault, domestic violence, and trafficking. All walks of life with regard to outreach to individuals. We're also talking about DSTOP's ongoing call and efforts to provide direct support and services for adult children, victims of crime, these services will be provided in court, hospital, and office settings. This legislation is urgent, essential, and critical importance to DSTOP's continued work with children. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Melanie Shapiro, the Public Policy Director of the American Network Against Domestic Violence. Ebony GD is a federally recognized state domestic violence coalition. Represents the 19 comprehensive domestic violence programs, as well as our 5 organizations, professionals, and individuals. I'm taking regarding for this important bill. The federal grant dollars from the Victims of Violence is the single largest source of funds to support domestic violence programs in the country. About $14.5 million domestic violence programs every year. These programs are able to operate because of the local grant network. The money supports crisis services such as 24-hour hotlines, emergency shelters. It supports legal services, and it provides funds for advocates. Advocates like the one at a local domestic violence program that helps the victims of domestic violence that came in seeking housing and support. The spouse has violated a protective order resulting in neglect. The underlying basis for the original protective order was an assault. If her partner was in jail, she could no longer afford the rent for the home she was living in and had nowhere to go. This advocate assisted with safety planning, helped her terminate her lease early, and the legal protection for victims of domestic violence, some of which you expanded and was initiated last year, got her into the emergency shelter. The advocate ultimately assisted the victim in relocating outside of the area to be closer to family and away from her abuser. The victim advocate that helps throughout this entire process only exists because of local funding. The instability of local funding means that programs do not play out to make an increase in complex needs to victims of domestic violence. The amount of money that is distributed to states through most of this year is reported to be lower than last year and higher than the year before. Service providers are in a stressful state of negotiating possible layoffs. It's difficult for them to receive existing staff and almost impossible to hire new staff because of the constant state of uncertainty. Less staff means that there are fewer victims served, and that is a direct and ongoing impact of the instability of local funding. HB 186 provides a necessary guarantee that there will be funds to support the programs that provide life-saving services to victims of domestic violence. I urge the table report on HB 186. Good afternoon, Chairman Martin. The Appropriations Committee. I'm Wendy Ryan, I'm Executive Director of Appropriations Committee. I'm Wendy Myers. I'm the Executive Director of Maryland Children's Alliance, or MCA. MCA is the statewide chapter which convenes the 24 statewide child advocacy centers within Maryland. And we will always PACs so that way you'll understand what I'm talking about because we have a lot of acronyms in our world. TACs so topics into physical abuse, sexual abuse, trafficking, exploitation, and we do have 24 within the state of Maryland. I want to thank our Chief Appreciation and Brian's sponsoring the bill, again, the leadership in establishing here. The bill ensures that there will be predictability and broker funding for victim services organizations, including Maryland Child Advocacy Center. The CAC model utilizes the multidisciplinary response to child abuse. It brings all the professionals together which provide those services: law enforcement, child protective services, victim advocates, the mental health providers, the medical providers. The CACs bring all those professionals together in one location to provide services. This approach streamlines the coordination of services and minimizes the trauma of abuse, and we certainly see an increase in prosecution of those cases. In 2021, Maryland CAC served 5,471 Maryland children for abuse. During the first half of 2022, Maryland Child Advocacy Center served 3,101 children for abuse. MCA and the network of Maryland CACs are so grateful for some of our support, and we will have to do a little bit of one of these things. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Joyce King. I am Chief Counsel at the Franklin County State's Attorney's Office, and I'm here representing the Maryland State's Attorneys Association in support of HB 186. Throughout the State's Attorney's offices work in collaboration and partnership with these amazing organizations to serve survivors and victims in our communities. We echo their testimony that the loss of local funds would be devastating to the criminal justice system. Because of local funds in my jurisdiction, our State's Attorney's Office was able to create an independent domestic violence unit. Its team is now able to specialize in evidence-based trauma-informed prosecution. Specifically, we were able to hire 2 victim witness coordinators, one that is completely designated to community engagement. She serves as the administrator for our domestic violence coordinating council and our human trafficking response team. This is true for State Attorney's offices throughout the state. Prosecutors and victim witness coordinators utilize these funds for these essential positions that need specialized training and sophisticated understanding of the complex nature of this trauma and cycles of violence and abuse. HB 186 will ensure that these funds will be stabilized and these positions can continue to ensure victim-informed, safety-driven outcomes and strong prosecution. So we've asked for a favorable report.
Questions for the team? Getting some water. Because do that. That was enough.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one question. You mentioned sexual trafficking. I was at a seminar just this past summer for sexual trafficking, and I understand that from Wallace to New York, we have one of the largest sex trafficking. Is there any training involved for this? Are you going to plan on it?
There is. Thank you for asking that question. The local funds is a number of different things to help support the people who are working with sex trafficking survivors, including minors who have been sex trafficked. And that includes our Regional Navigator Project, which the General Assembly has required that the government provide. So kids are not arrested, they are instead provided with services. We also have the COUNT program, the Coordinated Action Against Sex Trafficking, which helps create crisis centers for youth services. And all of those different service providers also have the ability to receive training, some of which is supported through workers. So sex trafficking is very much a piece of what we're supporting.
Yes, I was starting to realize and learn it's just exactly since COVID is perpetuating much larger. And it's just not only girls anymore, so we need to really get it. Thank you very much.
You may not be able to answer this question right now, but I was just kind of wondering, collectively, because there's all kinds of different people doing different missions in this endeavor, and I just kind of wondered how many on average per year people are in you help collectively. It just to kind of get an idea of how, I know everybody pretty much from judiciary, but I just was kind of curious about that. And then the other question, and I don't expect you to be able to answer now, is that based on all of the work that all these different groups do, what are the outcomes as far as are the people able to kind of overcome the tragedy that they encounter, whatever it be, and kind of move on to a good productive life because you do trauma-informed care for them. So that's just a question.
Delegate Thomas, it's so lovely to see you here in Appropriations. It's nice to see you, and I'm glad I still get the chance to be appearing in front of you. We will get you the information about the aggregate number of services. But I will say that one of the wonderful things about VOCA is that it is so community-driven. So these are community-based programs, and they are applying for what they need in their communities. Some of the grants are $30,000, some are hundreds and thousands of dollars. So it really very much depends. In terms of outcomes, as you know from your many years of service on judiciary, crime victims have all sorts of different outcomes. What we do know is if we don't provide them with local services, like counseling, like advocates, like people that support them through the criminal justice system, like an attorney to, get someone to divorce when their husband is sexually abused their child, all of those things help them heal. And so if we don't do those things, their outcome is unquestionably worse.
I guess from the judiciary that this way is all that people already know these folks who are in the state legislature. Chairman, thanks for being here today. I'm here from judiciary, and I bring an interesting perspective to this question. I am a surviving victim of a violent attempted murder. And having recovered from that, I remember how psychologically traumatized I was having lived through that. And I had to seek counsel on my own. When I hear domestic violence, is there counsel for people who survive something like an attempted murder? Because it is so beneficial to the victim to recover from the situation. I like that you was a PTSD of a combat veteran. And it's so critical for us to have services there for citizens to survive those incidents. What does this bring to the table for those victims?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Well, I'm grateful in retrospect that I'm here today and I can provide this work to constituents.
Yeah, the answer to your question is that there are some services that nowhere near enough. That's one of the wonderful things about House Bill 186 is it not only provides the $50 million that would fund current services, there's another 10 in there that will help expand services and helping families who are murder victim survivors. The surviving murders is something that we have a number of groups doing. We also have a human agency that will help people in your situation as well. So the answer is yes, VOCA helps that. No, not enough. We all can do it.
I appreciate that reply. Because so often, crime has people get impacted who are not the victim. It's like artillery round blows out, kills the victim, but it hits the family members around it. So this is very critical. I appreciate the time. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I noticed that this bill proposed to this right to life. Can we confidently say that funding is actually going to get us
that happened across the street as well, and we were unable to identify any time when this funding had been used to fund the plan.
So programs like that.
I looked at the list in Planned Parenthood. It's not on the list of grants.
Very good.
Any other questions? Thank you all for the work you do and helping us run your organization to do this so vital and victims and survivors in our space. It does really the work you do as far as that. We appreciate you. I think we hear one more witness, Joyce Lombardi. Thank you, President.
just don't know if you knew this, like, Cook here, dad, Jackson, about who I was, he was a great mentor.
But I did know that, and it's very nice to see you. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the committee, thank you very much. I am Joyce Lombardi. I'm here today representing Center for Hope. Many of you know us. We are physically located in the District of Delegate County Bridges. Thank you. And we serve violence victims throughout the state of Maryland. We have several programs. We have a child abuse program, the Child Advocacy Center that Ms. Williams mentioned. We serve victims of domestic violence. We do serve children who have witnessed violence and witnesses experienced violence. And we also serve victims of community violence. Not to go through, touch on one of your points, Chairman, which is continuity services. You have our written testimony, but local funds a significant portion of our work, anywhere from 25 to 80% of some of our programs. And what happened to us and about 120 other agencies that this money represents is that last year in January, we were facing anticipated cuts of about 60%. At that time, the federal funding coffers, there seemed to be a shortfall. So we had hiring freeze. At the same time, child abuse cases spiked. Domestic violence cases spiked. What that meant is that we could not hire mental health therapists, we could not hire a family advocate, and some other key positions. We had to turn away children for mental health in a pandemic. We had to stop some of the support groups that our families desperately need. We had staff burnout, fatigue, resignations, and to be honest, we are still digging out from some of that. We thank you for this bill. It would in fact help with the continuity of care and services, and we do urge a favorable report.
Other questions for Ms. Moore? Thank you for being with us. That concludes the voting. Thank you, Linda. We'll now move to House Bill 74, Delegate Furman.
Mr. Chairman, the Vice Chair, colleagues from the Appropriations Committee, and perhaps some guests from the Environment and Conservation Committee, I come before you today with the Maryland Rail Investment Act of 2023. For those of you who were on the committee last year, I had the Maryland Rail Investment Act of 2022, similar bill, similar concept. We had a typical pattern in the General Assembly in the state. Delegate Hubon needs Maryland 83 funded in Western Maryland. Delegate Harris wants the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit System funded. Delegate Solomon wants every state and every fallback funded. The chairman wants to complete the Purple Line. Delegate Chang wants to fund local roads in Glen Burnie. Delegate Grice wants to fund roads on the eastern shore, and so on and so forth. Obviously, I've had these conversations with you in some cases many times over the years. But I like the federal government, and I think it's a very protected there. We don't have our own central bank, and we don't have our own government printing presses. We need revenue to pay for these projects. And even though we increase federal support, which we have right now, there are state and local matches required if we want to do these big projects. So it's before you review the concepts to potentially do that. And again, I just want to be clear, we have a problem, and this is not an easy answer. I wish I had an easy answer. That would make for a much smoother hearing and legislative session. What this bill does is takes our existing toll authorities, requires that they, the Maryland Transportation Authority, which manages our toll authorities, for those of you sort of new to this, those are our bridges and tunnels, the ICC, the roads that already have tolls on them, requires them to apply optimal tolling, so increase the tolling, or they'll potentially, using the power of Easy Pass, apply discounts in a different way than we do now to targeted populations depending on our interests. If we want to get those weekend travelers to the eastern shore, or we want to have older travelers, or people who are different social economic status, we could, modify the rates there to get the targeted populations. But overall, optimize the tolling on our toll roads and toll bridges, and then put that funding into a new rail authority, which a number of other states, including our friends and competitors in Virginia, have done to build some really large rail infrastructure projects. So we have a new rail authority, sort of another unit similar to the Maryland Transportation Authority that manages our toll roads and bridges, to build some of the rail and transit infrastructure that many of us are interested in, including improvements on the existing North Rail system, that run-through service to Delaware that our friends in Cecil County have been pushing for, the run-through service in Northern Virginia that folks in my area are interested in, expanding service out to Western Maryland, our friend Senator Quarterman's project, the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit System, the Red Line in Baltimore, and many of these other projects that we care about. The new rail authority is made up of the Transportation Secretary, which will share that board as they do the MDTA. There will be an appointee from the Speaker, an appointee from the Senate President, and an ex officio members representing WMATA, Amtrak, the Treasurer's Office, a few other folks like that. But that's the point of the bill. The point of the bill is to find revenue for a lot of the projects we talk about in this room year after year. And so that's what I have for you.
Thanks, Greg. Questions from Bill Thompson?
I'm curious, thank you for bringing the bill. Does it have any traffic control benefits, or do people something not modify their behavior at the rate they take?
So certainly, dynamic tolling can have a traffic benefit. If you want to keep roads flowing, at a higher frequency, you can increase the toll because that disincentivizes their use. That's not necessarily my purpose here, but there are certainly tolling projects around the country, including around our region, that do have that purpose. And the vision for that Governor Hogan had, the I-270 and I-495, if you heard about that project, that was certainly part of the purpose there was to incentivize or disincentivize the usage of the roads. My focus is to generate revenue for more transportation infrastructure, and I should also add, based on that reminder, that the purpose of this bill is not to have crumbling tunnels or bridges. It's not to make it so that MDTA can't service their bonds and maintain their projects. This will be the overage beyond that. I hope that it's got the right number for that to go towards some of those transit projects.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. We're going to speak with one witness, Stephen Robinson.
My name is Stephen Robinson. I'm a full-course student at the University of Baltimore. I'm an autism policy analyst and autistic adult self-support group facilitator. I'm also a job coach and a lifelong learner trainer. I'm passionate about connecting workers with their interests and skill sets to local companies that are hiring in different areas of the state. For workers with cognitive or functional disabilities, rail coupled with lifelines provides a trip that can be accessible, cheap, and safe. Gas and private based car sharing can be inaccessible for customers with disabilities, and the metro access system in the DC area can be unreliable too. Metro access is a lifeline to the disability community. Drivers cannot cross county lines, and as an autism case manager myself, I've personally experienced long wait times and drivers arriving at the wrong address pretty frequently. Trainings help integrate communities and workers that are farther apart and help people build independent skills. I was very pleased when I heard the state is considering expanding Brunswick Mart service into Western Maryland, including weekend service into this plan. This would benefit not only commuters, but also folks in hard-to-reach areas who will navigate their way into different parts of the state illegally. Rail serves customers of all ages. Trains are unique because there's no age limit, and you don't need a license to ride. Buses also play a key part of the rail solution, but cannot themselves replace trains. Buses have to fight their way through traffic to deal with cars, which is hazardous and can help to travel time. As a native of Germantown, Maryland, I remember at age 4 going to the train station and waving to the conductors and the train engineers waiting for commuters to come home. I still do that to this day. But I hated waiting until 4:30 p.m. to do so. So when I went to school in Worcester, Massachusetts, and experienced the 7-day-a-week MDTA service to Boston, I realized that Brunswick service in Maryland only appealed to commuters, not the general public. We should be fostering the love of rail for all Marylanders, no matter their age, location, or employment status. Trains foster community riders and combat car-centric nature of our fleet today. We have a huge problem in the state where we create car solutions to come home.
We'll get some minutes. You can please start it.
the cars that you want dangerous when they're being shown. And license plate replacement in the ground to see that when they're thinking.
Taking time to be with us today. Are there any questions for this witness? Thank you very much, sir. That concludes the hearing on House Bill 74, and now turn to House Bill 163, Delegate Otto. If you have the witness, you can bring up Delegate Otto, Chief Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce House Bill 163 to the committee. And it basically, for the record, Charles Otto, the delegate from District 38A, representing Somerset, Worcester, and County. And I appreciate the work that you do on this committee. And this basically adds the City of Chrisfield Police Department to the LEOP program. And it's just an addition to make the police department competitive with the other jurisdictions around. And you know how it is right now to hire qualified people to serve in that capacity. And with us, we have the chief of police and the mayor of Chrisfield, and they know the obligation that they're creating for themselves. And I'm sure we do have a letter from the county commissioners for Somerset County as well. So with that, I'll give my time to the others unless you have questions of me.
Thank you so much, Chairman, Vice Chair, and members of the Appropriations Committee. My name is Valerie Taylor, and I am the mayor of Chrisfield. I thought it was really important for me to be here today. I appreciate the opportunity. As the first African American and first female to be elected in Chrisfield, in a community where I was born and raised, I left and spent 20 years working for the Defense Contractor. Came back home, started a nonprofit for the kids, and then 17 years later, here I am as the first African American female mayor in Chrisfield. And one of the first things that I realized is that public safety is a major concern for everyone, and of course for a mayor. So one of the first things that I heard was that it was very difficult for us to recruit and retain good police officers, as it may be in many places. I was told that we only had 6 of our 12 positions filled. And I was told one of the major reasons for that was because we were unable to offer the law enforcement pension plan to our officers. And so many of them were going to neighboring jurisdictions. And so that was a major problem for me. But one of the big things that made me believe that this was a major crusade that needed to be trained was because one of our lieutenants, James Ferguson, he's been with our force for 34 years. We consider him a hometown hero because everyone knows him, everyone loves him. And he says he has never left our force because he loves Chrisfield. But he's been there 34 years. If he were to retire tomorrow, which he's eligible for, if he were to do that, he would only receive about $1,100 a month. And so for me, that's unacceptable. He has gotten up for 34 years, put on that uniform, and he has served our community. And that's all we're going to give him as a pittance. The problem is he has 4 sons. One of them is a senior this year, so he should be retired soon. But the other one has autism, so he is a special needs child. And so he's going to be responsible for his care. So for me, for someone who has served our community for 34 years, for him only to receive $1,100 a month is an unacceptable situation. So I'm here today. The chief can tell you why LEOPS is so important on a day-to-day basis, but I can tell you from a human basis that this is definitely something that needs to be corrected. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I am Chief Rick Taylor. I've been with the Chrisfield Police Department now for 17 years. I took over in April of 2022 after the previous chief left for a better opportunity. Chrisfield is slated to have 12 officers, however, including myself, we currently have 7. Oftentimes, we only have 1 officer on duty, which also poses additional safety risk to our citizens.
along with only having one officer on duty, many times we have to request the assistance of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office to fill in. I came in at badge number 133. We're currently at badge number 177. I've seen 39 people come and go since I was hired, and I can tell you for a small force like Smithfield, that is a lot of turnover in 17 years. In the last year alone, we've lost 4 police officers due to being able to go to other agencies that have the REOPS pension system. I have since then reached out to additional officers within the Christina Police Department in hopes that they can help with recruitment and retention efforts, and they have often told me, Chief, we know people that want to go to other agencies, but they're not going to come to Christina because we don't offer REOPS. But we're not just looking for officers. We need quality officers. We have a standing vacancy notice, and in the last year we've processed 5 people for hire, not been able to onboard any of those people for various personal issues. It is extremely difficult to locate and hire minority officers. We've had 3 in the pipeline, but we've had major difficulty getting them through the process. The fact that other departments offer REOPS is kind of faster again. Interested applicants always ask, and when we do get one, they always ask, do we have REOPS? Position for hire is fierce in our small rural area. The majority of the surrounding law enforcement agencies offer REOPS, including Princess Anne Police Department, UMES Police, Somerset County Sheriff's Office, Fruitland Police, Pocomo Police Departments, and you have to pass at least 2 of those agencies to get down to Chrisfield. Most recently, we hired a certified minority officer. After we completed the entire process, we decided to go to the Princess Anne Police Department because there he could re-enroll in the REOPS pension system. REOPS is not a cure-all for recruitment and retention issues, but it will help us level the playing field, and we're asking for your help in not only leveling the playing field, but supporting the officers who, despite this major disparity, have continued to stay in Chrisfield and support our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Some questions for Galgado or Mayor or Chief?
Sorry, I may have missed it in your opening testimony, but as far as our being fiscal note that it said that if a certain number of, I think the force wants to be in areas, they can bring that to a local jurisdiction. Maybe I missed it, just reiterate for me, but I'm just kind of curious why we have to go here before us as opposed to the local jurisdiction.
I don't think I quite understand the question. I believe there's certain agencies that are authorized to offer this program, and that's what we're asking to be put on the list.
So it is just
agency. Mr. Chairman, Delegate, I thank you for this opportunity to present this bill, and I ask for your favorable report. And we have the National Hog Grab Day on Labor Day in Chrisfield, and they have the Tab and Crown Day, Tab and Crown Day, and
if I may, if I'm not mistaken, we have to move from a non-contributory to a contributory retirement in order for us to be able to put our offices into REOPS, and that's the thing that triggers it back up. Absolutely.
Well, you took my thunder talking about the plan base. That's my family reunion day. That's on the Northwest Chrisfield, my old family from high school in Chrisfield, and so I'm glad to see you here. I know that this bill was put in last year, it passed not break it passed the Senate, and we kind of ran out of time in the House, and so hopefully we can beat the Senate this year and send it over to them, and then we can go over there and get them the funds for that.
and as I say, the city and the police department, maybe like county are on board with it. So.
Yeah, it's good. Mayor, it's always good to see you, Chief. It's always good to see you. And see the officers here, and enjoy the ride back. And see y'all soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Create delegate lots of good support.
Mr. Holter, do you get my panel to come up and join me while I testify? Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. For the record, I'm Delegate Jamie Palakovich. I'm here to present House Bill 168. This bill would end Maryland's financial punishment for recipients of temporary cash assistance who also receive government housing assistance. Temporary cash assistance, or TCA, as you may know, is the primary source of cash assistance for very low-income families, especially those with children in Maryland. Unfortunately, Maryland is one of a very small number of states who voted against TCA recipients when they also qualify for and receive housing assistance from the government, whether that's a Section 8 voucher or if they live in public housing. And that's because our state regulations require that $60 each month of the value of their housing assistance count as unearned income. So that means it's a direct one-to-one $60 reduction in their TCA benefits for that month. So basically, reducing families' monthly TCA benefits is only making it harder for these families to escape poverty, and the bill would just require that our local social services departments disregard 100% of the amount of government housing subsidies when calculating an applicant's TCA benefits. This bill would just put us in a similar posture as most other states. We are one of only 7 states that treats housing benefits this way when calculating TCA benefits, and in fact, none of our neighboring states do this. So I hope that this session we can address this issue and get this problem fixed and help some very low-income families in our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Lisa Kleinmeyer. I'm here today representing Welfare Advocates, which is a coalition that works for a strong safety net and for policies that move families into economic stability. First of all, I'm strong supporter of House Bill 168, because families shouldn't be penalized for accessing more than one benefit they're eligible for. Maryland is one of the highest rates of deep poverty in the country. What that means is that for families living in poverty in Maryland, more than almost half of them, about 1 in 2, live at 50% of the federal poverty line or lower, which means for a parent with a child that's living at under $9,000 a year, or for a parent with 2 children that's living at about $12,000 a year. And unfortunately, many of these families are in our public benefits program because they're facing that programs don't bring families towards economic stability. Temporary cash assistance, the program that this bill is about, is a program for children and their caretakers. About 70% of folks on temporary cash assistance are children. The way historically and statutorily Maryland calculates this benefit is by taking 61.25% of the Maryland minimum living level and then taking the SNAP benefit combined with TCA to reach that 61.25%. So for the dollar figure, that's $5.75 a month for a parent and a child, or $7.27 a month for a parent and 2 children. So that household who may be lucky enough to get a housing voucher, if we take $60 away from them, that's 10% of their benefit. And for someone who might receive a housing voucher, taking those $60 away could be the difference between diapers, between medicine, because housing vouchers can't buy those things. We should be supporting our families and letting them receive the benefits they're eligible for so they can build economic security. It's kind of included to take away dollars from low-income families who are trying to build that economic security. And so for all those reasons, we strongly urge the favorable report on House Bill 168.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Michelle Madero. I'm an attorney and director of Economic Justice Project with the Homeless Persons Representation Project. We provide free legal assistance to families experiencing housing insecurity, and I've worked over the years with a number of families who have been harmed by this $60 penalty. So we support HB 168 because it will end a harmful financial penalty that is maintaining racial disparities in access to TCA. When we looked at the data of who was harmed by this policy last year in 2022, 80% of the folks harmed were parents or adult caregivers who identified as Black or African Americans. And that compared to 64.5% at the TCA at-large population. Similarly, with women, it was 98% compared to 91% at large. The overrepresentation of Black families in need of subsidized housing today can be traced by countries' racist and discriminatory housing practices, for example, redlining restrictive covenants. So with this history in mind, we must do what we can to eliminate these disparities. Thanks to the work of this committee, and we really do appreciate all the work,
we've been able to end a lot of the racial disparities in access to TCA with other policies. So we ask that we turn down this next policy and continue to move the TCA program in an anti-racist direction. Doing so will actually align Maryland with a lot of other states. Only 7 states right now do what Maryland does. The other 43 states plus DC do not count a housing subsidy when calculating the TCA benefit. So we ask that you embrace the federal flexibility allowed in this practice and please support HB 168. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair, and for Vice Chair. My name is Callie Truman. I'm with the Maryland Center on Economic Policy. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan research organization. We believe that all Marylanders should be able to achieve their full potential in a healthy economy that offers a widely shared and rising standard of living. We're in support of House Bill 168. As others have stated, cash assistance really goes hand in hand with our other safety net programs that create economic security for children and their families. Cash is flexible. It can be used for whatever the family needs, with whether it's diapers, clothing, utilities, things that a housing subsidy can't support. And we are all better off when families, and particularly children, experience greater economic security. There's a wide range of research that shows that reducing the experience of childhood poverty has long-lasting benefits for children, including benefiting their health, benefiting their success in school, and even benefiting their earnings later in life. So therefore, we think it's really important to use every tool that we have to reduce the number of children experiencing poverty and life. As you have heard, and we'll hear from some other speakers who will join after me, $60 a month is a really meaningful amount to the families who are receiving TCA, and there really is no good reason to continue reducing their cash assistance in this way. Finally, I'll just note that as with other family income support programs, we also see this as bringing benefits for local businesses and local economy. Families who are living on very low incomes will spend most of their income at local businesses as they're purchasing the basic necessities that their families need. Also, the Worker Maryland Against Poverty, which submitted written testimony in support of this legislation as well. Thank you, and ask for a table report on House Bill 168.
Any questions for the bill sponsor or Pino? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. Sorry. A quick question. I think Ms. Kevin-Meyer, you sort of understand finances better than most, so I was going to ask you. Looking at the fiscal note, fiscal note seems to estimate that families on TCA are using an entire year's worth of benefit, but it's a calculation. But most families don't pay on TCA for the entire year. So can you address that a little bit? What do you think? What's the average of the families around TCA and what that costs looks like?
Yeah, thank you so much for your question, Delegate. Appreciate it. The fiscal note we do think is a little bit inflated and potentially in 2 ways. One is that the fiscal note assumes that a family will stay on TCA for the entire year. That was from the Northwest Welfare Research Institute of the School Social Work Source. That's not the case. The T stands for temporary, and cash assistance is by definition temporary. Most families stay on for not a full year. I think the mean was 10 months. And so to assume that all of those families will be receiving the benefit for the full year is probably not going to happen in practice. We also did a information request to find out how many families were impacted by the $60. In calendar year 2022, the department told us it was 4,999. So that's about 20% less than the number the fiscal note has, and the case loads are trending down. So we do think the fiscal note's a bit inflated. And I'll also finally add, the fiscal note assumes this has to be general funds. No one received $228 million in our Canvas block grant. Clearly, only 28% of that actually goes to cash benefit. So both for the reduction in caseload and this massive block that we have, we firmly believe that this change in policy could be absorbed by the current budget for the program.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you all. We did have a couple of virtual witnesses signed up if many are in the waiting room. Thank you for being with us, and back to the building. Thank you. Let's move to House Bill And well, they'll get that.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and esteemed members of the Appropriations Committee. For the record, I'm Delegate Rita Wagner from District 33C, Anne Arundel County, here on behalf of HB 112, the First Amendment and Public Employee Protection Act. You have my written testimony, so I'll try to summarize. December 29, 2021, a story broke in the Baltimore Sun regarding spoiled vaccines, which have been distributed across the state. But rather than focusing on the spoiled vaccines, on the former Deputy Director of the Maryland Department of Health Coronavirus Recovery Program, her attempts to raise alarms about the vaccines, and her formal complaint after she was, according to the complaint, moved to an advisory role, doing entry-level administrative tasks and barred from communicating with her former colleagues. Just last year, the Washington Post reported a former University of Maryland employee defrauded the school over $1 million between 2016 and 2020. Her past issues were the impetus for this effort. Good governance, transparency, and ensuring we are good brokers of the public trust is always timely. One of our most essential roles as representatives of our community is to be good stewards of the finances, safety, and security of our constituency, to ensure our state is acting in an ethical and fair manner, free of fraud and waste, and dangerous to public health and security. But we need to provide protections for those who are in a position to witness firsthand violations of that trust, so they may report their concerns free of retaliation. Whistleblower protections are nothing new. For the sake of time, I will direct you to my written testimony, which details the history of whistleblower protections dating back to the passage by the Continental Congress in 1778 and strengthened by Congress in 1863 with the passage of the False Claims Act, or the FCA, still used today in whistleblower litigation suits. Currently, federal whistleblower protection laws protect a wider scope of employees and a wider span of disclosures than Maryland's laws, with the FCA still being one of the primary tools used. Maryland's whistleblower protection laws are not as strong and are only for people in certain jobs, for people working for specific employers, or for people reporting certain kinds of misconduct. For example, the Healthcare Worker Whistleblower Protection Act protects licensed or board-certified healthcare workers, but excludes state employees. House Bill 112 expands the scope of employees protected by Maryland's whistleblower laws, broadens the prohibited retaliatory actions taken by employers against whistleblowers, provides an opportunity for the employer to resolve the complaint or complaints made by an employee, and if resolution is not reached, provides that the Office of the Attorney General to investigate the complaint. In the 21st century, fraud and employer wrongdoings are still alive and well. A 2019 survey concluded that nearly 45% of employees worldwide had observed at least one type of misconduct, with 34% not reporting any of the incidents observed. In order to prioritize accountability, transparency, and trust in our state and state agencies, it is imperative to protect our own state employees who have knowledge of wrongdoings that can and have harmed Marylanders. Most whistleblowers do not come forward, even when they have observed misconduct. Our new administration has made clear that a top-line priority is to rebuild state government, and HB 112 is an important tool in that effort. You should see an amendment in your floor system. Working with the administration in advance of this hearing, we struck a portion of the bill which we agreed was a little too broad, but without which still met the intent of the bill. This bill, as amended, ensures our hardworking, committed state employees are protected against retaliation for speaking out so that we can all be better informed, so we can more readily identify and address fraud, waste, and risks to public health and security, and is an investment in good governance. Whistleblowing protection is built into the foundation of the American experiment. And as we rebuild state government, the time is now to take action in protecting our public servants. With that, I request a favorable report on House Bill 312. Good afternoon, Chair, and Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Shirley Jackson. I'm Chief Steward of Maryland Professional Employees Council, the representative for UVP employees. I'm seeking a favorable report for HB 112.
Retaliation is a deep-rooted culture in state service. Many employees are afraid to speak up about minor infractions or wouldn't dare to disclose information or anything major because of the fear is too great and reprisal is safe. This bill is a step in the right direction to uphold the retaliatory culture in state service. It also reinforces the state's position against unwanted behavior. By prohibiting adverse personnel action from being taken against an employee for whistleblowing, allowing the Attorney General's office to investigate complaints over 60 days, and awarding damages. HB 112 will help employees feel safe enough to speak up. For the protection of our members, I am unable to share examples of cases affected by this bill because we are an open committee, but we are happy to schedule a closed meeting with interested committee members to discuss further. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Bangor, thank you for bringing the bill. If you have had an opportunity to review the written testimony from the University of Maryland Systems, I'd like to give you an opportunity to respond.
Thank you, Delegate Wilson. I have reviewed the opposition or the letter of information from the university. I believe that the amended bill does address some of their concerns. I believe they had the same concerns about it being too broad and about making the state potentially vulnerable to somebody making a public disclosure that and then after the fact claiming whistleblower protection. I don't believe that is an accurate understanding of the bill nor the intent. Because there's still an investigatory process. But we did strike a part of the bill that I think was too broad, and I think that amendment may actually address the concerns laid out in the federal information.
Do we have the amendment? I'm not sure.
It should be in the floor system, but I can tell you what they are.
No, this makes me good.
Okay. They should be in the floor system. I did request them last week.
We don't have it, so just make sure.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm seeing other questions that we do. Additional witnesses, however, and they can come forward, and whoever gets to the desk first can begin. Josh, now, Donna, and who is your call?
Deputy Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the Appropriations Committee, my name is Josh Howe, Congressman Relations here on behalf of the Maryland Association for Justice. I'm respectfully asking for a single report for October 12th. We want to thank the Growth Council for reintroducing this bill. MAJ asserts that House Bill 112 makes several improvements to the state personnel whistleblower law. Some of those changes are highlighted with the fact that the bill expands the scope of protection from unlawful retaliation for protected disclosure. Our interpretation is that there's nothing in current law that prohibits or protects against the threat of retaliation, which can be a very powerful weapon to force silence onto someone that wants to do other things. However, by making the threat itself unlawful, House Bill 112 provides more protection for a whistleblower to come forward. The bill calls for the Office of the Attorney General to conduct an investigation into the claim of retaliation if the complaint cannot be resolved with the principal agency, and this allows for an unbiased investigation. And then thirdly, on page 4, line 2, the bill reasonably expands the definition of protected disclosure to include information relating to business or other activities of the state, including information related to issues of public health, data preservation, cybersecurity, crimes and investigations, and other matters requiring proactive action. And finally, the bill appropriately protects or rewards state executive employees to report wrongdoing by allowing them to recover statutory damages and compensatory damages, in addition to what is allowed in the current law. And for these reasons, we believe the passage of House Bill 112 will foster better and more transparent government and further protect the brave whistleblowers that come forward. Respectfully ask for their support.
I have a
am president of the Maryland State and DCA plus CIO. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and this committee for the opportunity to testify in strong support of the bill. You have our written support. I'm just going to add a couple extra points to this. This bill brings in our whistleblower law in more like the federal law for whistleblowers. And particularly, I can just read you a couple things from the whistleblower protection from the federal government. It prohibits those in authority from taking, failing to take, or threatening to take certain personnel actions because of a covered employer's disclosure, whistleblower disclosure. And also, in the federal government, they have the office of special counsel so that whistleblowers can go to an independent agency if they feel like there's been retaliation. I would also point out that the Congressional Research Service did an extensive study of all the statutes for whistleblowers in the states, and you'd be very surprised to know that Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, as well as Iowa, Michigan, and Colorado, and Washington State, and California, all have whistle protection against retaliation laws like we are proposing. So with that, I do ask for a favorable report on House Bill 112, and it's really good to be in front of this committee for my first time. You may be tired of me by the end of the afternoon. Thank you.
That concludes the hearing. We'll move to House Bill 65, Delegate Johnson, who will be with us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Appropriations Committee, this is my first bill before this committee this session, so I'm glad to be here. I'm Dr. Steve Johnson. I'm happy to be here today to present House Bill 65, Education, Public Library Collective Bargaining. This is a statewide bill for all library employees. I'd first like to say that this, again, is not a union bill. This is a constitutional rights bill. And I want to repeat that because that's important. This is a constitutional rights bill. Our job as legislators to make sure every citizen in Maryland can exercise their constitutional rights. And that's why I'm here today with this bill. This bill does not encourage or discourage anyone from joining a union. This bill creates a legal pathway for them to do that if they so choose. At this time, they have the constitutional right to join a union. Technically, there isn't a law preventing them from forming a union. That right is guaranteed and protected by the Constitution. However, there is no law that defines the process and enables them to pursue that right. And that's what we're doing here today. That's what HB 65 does. To be clear, HB 65 does not unionize public library employees. It defines the process employees must follow to organize, file an election, and conduct an election should the employee choose to do so in the future. Legislation is required to define the eligibility and designate the process for employees to follow. In the state of Maryland, the library system was formed through state statute as an entity of outside the state or county government. While they may be public sector employees, the county and state labor laws do not apply to library workers because they are neither county nor state employees. Additionally, the National Labor Relations Act applies to the private sector employees. Since public libraries was funded through tax dollars, employees cannot organize under the NLRA. Legislative action was required for other unionized systems in Maryland. And without such legislative action, public libraries cannot enter into a binding collective bargaining agreement with employees. Montgomery County voted to change their county charter. But an opinion from the AG's office stated this was probably not the best way to do that. as it would be subject to legal challenge. Both Georgia County, Howard County, and Baltimore worked with state legislators to pass laws that created the pathway for them to unionize. This will be the fifth county that has wanted to pursue their constitutional right with no pathway in place to do that. Instead of coming back to the General Assembly and piecemealing every county one by one, I thought it would be prudent to make this a statewide bill so that every county will have in place a process for their employees to unionize if they would like to do that. You will see the size of this bill is much larger than the bill we introduced last year. And that's because in the interim of thinking of taking this bill statewide, we looked at the laws across the state of Maryland. And we wanted to make sure that this bill was consistent with the laws, no matter what county wanted to collective bargain, that this bill would mesh with their local labor laws. So that's why you see this bill a little more in depth than the last bill we put in. For that reason, I would ask for a favorable report on House Bill 65. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague.
Thank you so much. My name is Laura Ewan, and I'm Associate General Counsel with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, committee members, I'm honored to be here today to speak to you about HB 65. This crucial legislation, as Delegate Johnson just explained, allows not only that pathway for workers to move forward and collectively organize and then bargain with their employers should they so choose, but it creates that delegation of authority from the state to the county library systems, which are created by the state, to be able to even enter into that contract. Without this legislation, county library systems could not enter into collective bargaining agreements that actually had any meaning or weight or were binding. And so that's what HB 65 does. And as we already heard, some counties have already gone through this process, and we've outlined that in our testimony. But doing it on a county-by-county basis is ineffective, inefficient, because you'll keep hearing from counties session after session, and it asks for inconsistencies for how library employees can gain that representation. It's a common-sense approach that would allow these employees to access that constitutionally protected right to do it on a statewide basis. Now, you'll hear from opponents who no doubt will try to make this sound like a parade of horribles. But the opposition to this bill comes from either a failure to actually read the bill, I wish I were guilty, willful resistance to allowing these employees to access that right to have a pathway to unionize, or just a fundamental misunderstanding about why employees want to unionize to begin with. Some people want to use a Howard County law as kind of the template instead of the one that we put forward that is based on careful research of how things work across the state of Maryland. But that Howard County law, no union has organized that bargaining unit, even though they have a law to be able to do so. And that's for a reason. It restricts the employee's rights, and it turns them in to their employer. It puts a list of employees who want to vote in the hands of management. So now they know who they can look at carefully. That's why we urge you to return a favorable result on this one.
Good afternoon. Chairman Barnes, Vice Chair Tony, distinguished members of this committee, and especially my own representative, My name is Anita Douglas. I had the pleasure of testifying before many of you during the 2021 session when I spoke in favor of the collective bargaining legislation for Baltimore County Public Library. I come before you as the first local lodge president of Baltimore County Public Library. I am ready. Having the ability to form a union and negotiate our first contract wasn't easy. UPL staff worked with the IM for 3 years. It was part of this extended timeline, we're planning to pass legislation before we could have the hope of filling for a union election. We had the interest among the staff, but we didn't have a legal process. House Bill 65 will provide a constant and consistent process for my colleagues in other county library systems to organize for collective bargaining rights, if they choose. It will prevent library workers who want a union from having an unnecessary burden. Library workers without interest in becoming union will not be affected. In our first contract, we negotiated wage increases, improved benefits for our part-time staff, created the Labor Management Committee. Having a union isn't a promise of perfection, but it is an avenue for staff to have a voice and participate in the process. Now, we are in the midst of negotiating our second contract. It has been a learning process for both the union and management, but we are committed to working together for the best library system possible. Libraries are the cornerstones of our communities. Our work goes beyond helping a patron find a book, and as a frontline service providers, we have an important perspective. On behalf of the library workers across Maryland, I ask you to vote favorable on House Bill 65. Thank you for your consideration and time. Good afternoon, Chairman Barnes, Vice Chairman, and committee members. My name is Megan Baker, and I am a staff member of a library system in Maryland where we currently do not have the right to form a union and collectively bargain with our employer. I am here today to urge you to support House Bill 65. A week from today, February 7th, will be 18 years that I've been employed at my current library system. And I can honestly say that over the past several years, and predating the COVID-19 pandemic, I have witnessed firsthand a severe decline in our working conditions, overall job satisfaction, and employee morale, specifically for non-management employees. What used to be an innovative work environment that operated on a lead-from-any-position approach has eroded due to library leadership's lack of respect for its staff, poor communication, failure to properly address concerns, and an overall feeling of distrust. Non-management staff make up the majority of the library's workforce, yet we currently have no control when it comes to making decisions that directly affect us. Instead, we are expected to trust our library leadership, no questions asked. I believe even just the possibility of having a union will change that, and personally, I'd rather try to fix the parts of my workplace that are broken than leave a job that I love. Last year, we worked with IOM and Delegate Steve Johnson on proposed legislation for our county that was ultimately unsuccessful. While my co-workers and I were all very disappointed and frustrated, we were determined to try again. My co-workers and I are like so many other library workers across Maryland. We love our jobs. We love serving our communities and building relationships with our customers. We want valued, innovative libraries just like management does. But for that to happen, the workers need a seat at the table and a voice in the room. We need to feel confident that our ideas and concerns will be heard. HB 65 would give us that ability. Thank you.
Absolutely. That'd be great. We're going to see bills very similar to this, perhaps, and actually have more toward the end of the year. And make no mistake about it, this is a bill. What's important is the more members you have, the more money you have, and the louder voice you have. But that's the fact of the matter in this case. But I do have a question though. So this is a statewide bill. And I think my first question I probably need to answer is, but the first question is, I represent the Upper Shore, and I'm obviously very close to the Lower Shore. Is anyone from the Eastern Shore, out there asking for this bill to be passed to get employees? I'm venture to say that folks don't ask because they're afraid that their bosses will retaliate. When that's the case, are there any specific examples of where that might have happened? Anyone? Are you asking? Anyone requested or example or just I represent the shore. Honestly, whatever y'all do in your districts over here, it doesn't matter to me. I will never put a bill in to affect you guys in a negative way. So was there any request from any folks who work for any of our libraries in the Eastern Shore where they want this ability to do collectively?
I'll take the second that. So first, while I understand your perspective on whether it's a union bill or not, I mean, when workers come to us and ask us for help, we help them. So the fact that we're a union helping workers who are seeking this across the state doesn't make a union bill. It grants them the pathway to access to a constitutional right that they actually have. But with respect to your question about the Eastern Shore, I can't say the list of counties off the top of my head, because normally that's what our organizing department keeps listed. I do know for a fact that as the Baltimore County legislation was moving through in that session, the Hartford County workers from across the state, multiple counties, I don't think all but many were reaching out to us saying, how can we get this passed for our county too? So that's when we took a step back and said, so statewide. Because otherwise it'd be county by county, every single legislative session, sometimes multiple county laws behind it. So while I can't answer your question directly to your district where you're from, I do know that there were a lot of counties I was impressed by the list. I don't know what else.
Okay, thank you. And I will say that I do work very closely with some backgrounds on the shore, and I was not aware of it because I'm also working with it. For the other members, or especially the members of the committee, we did pass legislation several years ago where we're only doing pass this enabling legislation. What that does is it allows the laborers to go into that organization and then basically sell the benefits of being a member of the labor union. But it's completely one-sided. Management of the organization is not allowed to give their side of the deal. Is that not so?
The union doesn't go in like a brewery and a rodeo and hide employees. It's usually the employees that request a union to come in and form and work with them to form a union. So you want to have that a little bit. So thank you.
Things like that.
There's a process to organize it. And it has to go through the process. First they have to get signed union cards, a certain amount. And then they have to go through the process of an election. So it's a very fair process. And to kind of suggest that the union pushes it on, because we have some pushing going on both ways during an organization. So I think you haven't been part of that. The management, and the number one complaint, as we heard in my committee, from the Civil Rights Commission and another organization today for the last couple of years has been retaliation in the workplace. So that's why we were not favorable of the Howard County language, because you have to sign a member of signed union card to the library director. That's not the way it's supposed to work for employees, and that's not a fair process for the employees. But no, the union does not come in and pressure employees. It's the other way around. Employees ask for a union.
I just got a little curious here. This is the Aerospace and Mechanics Union. Well, I'm just kind of surprised because I would think that the expertise would be a union that like ASME or something like that. So I'm kind of curious as to how come you're doing it and you're not ASME. And you asked me my favorite question. So the employees actually come to the union and they ask us to start working with them on this. Now, the Machinists Union, I know everybody thinks of Boeing and airplanes and things to that effect, but frankly, we represent employees who work for the federal government, for example, at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, at local levels of government as well across the country. We represent lobstermen up in Maine. We represent nurses across the country. We also represent chaplains in hospitals. In other words, we are a big thing. I personally used to work at a law firm representing all kinds of unions, from nurses to teachers to firefighters, and when they asked me to come join them, I took a pay cut and moved across the country because this union represents all workers who need help. So it's more than just the claims and everything else that we do. That is really cool, but we represent so many more workers than just that.
Any other questions for this panel? Thank you. Those functions, we have other witnesses, however. Donna Edwards, Apple, Skip Hall, Morgan Miller. If you want to come up and do those first to the table to begin.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Donna Edwards. I'm president of Maryland State in D.C. AFL-CIO. You have written support letter, and I will go over that. I'll make some points as I do the last time. Let me clarify the history of Maryland. We have several unions that represent in Kenya Library.
So it's not one union, and as the sponsor, and thank you, Delegate Johnson, for putting that forward, this is a bill about human rights. Being able to form a union is a right here in this country. It's a federal right. It's protected. And what this bill does is give consistency to the process across the 24 jurisdictions in Maryland, so that workers know what to expect if they absolutely want to reach out and start to form a union. No one union has, the ability to just walk in. The workers are going to sign cards of interest if they want a union. And if they don't, there won't be one. But if they do, and there's more than one union that has enough cards, will be an election. That election will be done by an independent agency, and then move forward. So it's very important. And I'm not going to give you my age, but I can say this for a few decades that I've been doing this, and I can tell you that from around the whole entire state, there are people that are interested in organizing in all of our capacities, not just our libraries. So we have heard from libraries from Western Maryland, Eastern Shore, Southern Maryland, Northern Maryland. Secondly, I want to point out that because I'm not familiar, but the American Library Association, the Allied Professional Association, has identified utilization as the one thing that increases library pay, but most importantly, increases equity in the workplace. And that's what we're after. So thank you very much. I ask for a comfortable report on House Bill 65.
So good afternoon, Chairman Barnes, Vice Chairman Cannon, and members of the House Appropriations Committee. I'm Morgan Miller. I serve as the Executive Director of the Cecil County Public Library System in Delegate Brisk District, so out on the Eastern Shore, where we have a very good workplace cultural environment. We were awarded the National Medal for Libraries for our work and our contribution, which is the highest honor in the land that you can get for libraries. In addition, I'm also the chair of the Intergovernmental Relations Group for the Maryland Association of Public Library Administrators. So thank you for the opportunity to testify today in support of HB 65 with some amendments. For the past several years, as all of the panelists and witnesses noted, the process to enable collective bargaining legislation in public libraries has been handled on a county-by-county basis. The lack of a consistent process led by outside drivers has not always resulted in the best outcome for library staff, boards, county government, or most importantly to me, our library users. House Bill 65 corrects this by providing a consistent process across the state which allows public library employees to form a union and collectively bargain if they choose to do so. At this time, our Maryland Libraries community seeks to collaborate with Delegate Johnson and members of the Appropriations Subcommittee to introduce amendments that will best align policies included in HB 65 with existing Maryland Library statute, governance, and operating environments. Based on our preliminary conversations with Delegate Johnson, we're confident that we'll be able to do so. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration of this bill, and we ask that you give it a favorable report with amendments.
Mr. Chair, committee members, I am Chris Apple. I live in Columbia. In college, I majored in English, so I was in the university library a lot. And libraries are much more than a place for just normal books. They host a wealth of information. They provide community meeting spaces, internet, and children's and teen programs. Some teens tell me that they've never felt more appreciated or understood than when they're in one of these after-school programs. And it's not because they're surrounded by facts and periodicals. The library is just a building. It's the library staff that create a safe and accepting space for those kids. And they do it because they care. They do it because they want genuinely to serve their communities. Teachers and state employees are allowed to do this. Organizing lets them show the demands of the critical roles they occupy in society. They impose difficult jobs that are long on overtime and frequently short on praise. But our library staff have critical roles too, and they deserve that same chance to organize, to continue to serve their communities, under safe and fair working conditions. After all the sacrifices they make for us, it wouldn't be fair for us to demand that they keep working under conditions that are harsh. Nor would it be the right move to say, well, just move on, find other work. Because when those people leave, the spark goes out of the system, and you're left with difficult. Our library staff is an incredible resource. Let's make sure that that resource sticks around for our kids and for our grandkids and on and on. Let's show them that we support them and give them the same chance at organizing that we give other educators and public servants. Let's pass this bill and show them that we care. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Barnes, Vice Chair Karen, and members of the Appropriations Committee, especially Delegate Hassan and Vice Chair Karen from my home county. My name is Skip Ladd. I serve as Chief Executive Officer of Orlando County Public Library. I'm here today in support of House Bill 65, with amendments. In the past year, at the request of Chair Barnes, the Library Committee has worked with a highly experienced Delaware County to craft a collective bargaining bill. The idea is to develop a bill that would be acceptable to all library systems rather than focusing on what the county alone after last year's HB 1225. Given that I entered the second week of January, the Delegate Johnson was working on his own bill. We look forward to working cooperatively with him to align with HB 65. If this cannot be accomplished during this session, we look forward to getting it done over the summer. Our goal is to pass a bill that is fair to everyone, including the libraries, the communities we serve, and especially the thousands of library employees across the state. To be clear, we are not going to alone. In fact, our sons are both in our own library, and all of us are from generations of our parents. We look forward to working closely with Delegate Johnson to get this bill right. The first one to support the bill with us, despite HB 65 elements, they don't also respond on public libraries online. For example, the bill's legislation on the idea that the governing body is the county, the online state law of the county decades ago when hurdles to be exact. But other bills like trustees are the governing bodies of library systems. 23 of the 24 library systems run on the governing boards of trustees. The minority analysts that we will work together to handle. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
We expect every amendment make sure they get to the committee, and they're working with the committee as well. Yes. Any questions for this panel? Delegate Ray. In regards to those contributions, what would happen at that point?
This bill down during the bill may be one of the best that I think that I'm not the best one to answer that.
So that delegate class is one of the things we're going to focus on. In Maryland Public Library statute, the independent boards are granted to be the governing authorities and governing bodies of the library. We want to make sure that the process, or one of the things we'd like to see in the bill, would ensure that the library boards of trustees are involved in that process and that negotiations aren't directly done with the county governing body. I know in my own county, they would prefer to be done by the library board of trustees instead of going straight to them. So just to make sure that that process is clearly articulated and aligned with that statute already. There certainly is a time at which the county government becomes involved, particularly around budget negotiations and passing those. But we need to make sure that the board of trustees, which are the current governing body as outlined in the library statute, included in that process in order to keep right.
Mr. Chair, I just wondered if my wonderful library head in Hartford County was just to say anything. You didn't say anything.
Did we have you signed up? What's your name?
I signed up for it. That's right.
What's your name?
Mary Constant.
Don't have you, but take a minute and just Thank you.
Well, anyway, it's an honor to be here, and thank you, Delegate McComas, and thank you, Delegate Johnson. Both of them represent Hartford County. And I did sign up for informational purposes. I'm Mary Hassler. I'm the CEO of Hartford County Public Library, or commonly referred to as the Library Director in state law. I'm also the immediate past president of Maryland Humanities Board, and also co-chair of Women's Schools in Hartford County. This is an opportunity to talk about, I heard a lot about retaliation. I heard a lot of other things that were shared today. And we are not that time union in Hartford County Public Library. They have been. I have a very strong history of it in my family, going back generations, as Mr. O mentioned. But I just want to remind everyone, Maryland is considered library heaven throughout the country. And the reason why is because of you, the state of Maryland. Back in the 1940s, the Maryland Public Library laws were created, and the community library systems that we all enjoy, and we heard wonderful things about them today, really support our diverse community throughout the state of Maryland. It was the foresight and the planning of the state to provide these laws that support, protect, and enable communities to thrive. We're also blessed with wonderful benefits for both our part-time and full-time staff. Thank you, State of Maryland, because we are included under the state teachers' pension system. And that goes back to if you work 500 hours a year, which comes to 9.6 hours per week. You're in an amazing pension system, so please don't ever touch that. We love it. These laws have been updated throughout generations and decades, and it really has nurtured a culture of support, respect, and guidance by our wonderful staff, administration board, and most important, our communities. If you look at our organization charts, these at the very top. It is our communities. It's not the board, it's not my staff, it's the staff. It is our communities. And these laws outline the powers and duties of the board, the director, and our qualifications. So please revisit those laws. They do cover all sorts of things such as disciplinary actions, the appeal process, and it's because we were so forward thinking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here with us. Sorry we didn't have you regularly testify. Any other questions for this panel? Okay, thank you all for being with us. We do have one unfavorable signed up for January.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, former boss, Delegate Resnick, here on January with the Maryland Association of Counties in opposition to HB 65. Please go easy on me. I promise county opposition is in no way related to the merit of collective bargaining, and is instead solely based on practical and budgetary reasons. The current law reasonably says that each county can decide whether to bargain collectively, and it enables us to do so by way of local legislation. As you've heard, several counties, including some of yours, have done just that, and I'm sure that more will in the future. However, HB 65 would effectively repeal that enabling local action and instead require a uniform, overly prescriptive policy for all jurisdictions, despite their very different needs and capacities. The counties pride themselves in our world-class public library systems, some of which you've heard about today. In fact, all 23 counties and Baltimore City today are funding our library systems above and beyond the statutory requirements. State funding, however, unfortunately has lagged over the years. And with no additional state funding supported in HB 65, counties would ultimately be left with an unworkable, hefty bill. Money that counties would much rather invest in our schools and Maryland students, and blueprint implementation and healthy, safe facilities. And the professional, nonpartisan fiscal agrees the financial impact on local government is significant. Unfortunately, this would ultimately come at the expense of the non-local services that libraries provide our mutual constituents, again, some of which you heard here today. And we too want our libraries to remain for the generations to come. This bill, unfortunately, might threaten that in some of your counties. And so for this reason, NACO opposes HB 65 and urges an unfavorable report. Thank you.
we'll move past the 184 delegates now. So if you have a team, please bring them up. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's nice to be back at the table. Thank you for the opportunity to present HB 184 on state personnel. And I will just start off by saying that this bill is really about parity for all of our state workers. So taking you back a little bit, in 2017, this committee and the body passed a piece of legislation that essentially created a grievance process for state workers who were not paid appropriately. And I think probably many of us have been there where our paychecks were not correct. I've had several instances, even as a legislator, where it's taken a fair amount of time to get things corrected in other jobs, and there's nothing more frustrating than when you're not getting the pay that you've earned. And some of our state workers in your briefing today took literally months to get the money that they were owed as workers. Put them in debt, put them in a place where they couldn't see their rent, they couldn't put food on the table again. So just the services rendered the work that they provided to the state. So in 2017, again, we passed a piece of legislation that just created essentially a grievance process to make sure that those issues could be addressed in an expedited fashion. Again, it wouldn't create hardship for workers, but it left out the university system, which is on its own personnel system, and MDOT. Mainly because the state system was in the process of switching over to a software program called Workday. Both MDOT and USM have since moved over to that. And so really what this bill is about is just making sure that that grievance process exists for every state employee, whether they're part of the executive branch, part of the USM, or part of MDOT. There are some procedures that lay it out. Again, it's really about fairness. It says that a grievance, once it's filed, and it can't be filed until after the next payroll is met, after the original incident took place, that if it's not taken care of within 30 days, then there are actually penalties assigned. Again, I think any one of us, if we were looking at this point, potentially up to 60 days of not getting the correct pay, we'd probably be pretty frustrated and want some level of restitution. And I think it's, as you'll hear from our friends who asked me, it's more about helping expedite the process, not necessarily about getting any sort of penalties or additional pay. It's about a little bit of a nudge to make sure that these things get resolved quickly. I will just say before I turn it over to our friends here that the bill as drafted could potentially be refined a little bit. So you'll see in some of the testimony that's been submitted, and particularly those folks from your family here as well. We are happy to work with the university system to make tweaks to the bills. I think, as we all know, sometimes the code for collective bargaining can be a little sticky in the personnel section. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're accomplishing what we set out here. We're not wedded to the language that's in the bill drafted. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Forbes, your vice chair, members of the committee. My name is Liz Gilmore, and I'm a legislative director with Acting Council 3. We appreciate David Salmon very much for bringing this forward. He did a wonderful job explaining it, so I'll keep my remarks relatively short. And it absolutely is about fairness for us. We want to make sure that our members in higher education and in the Department of Transportation have the same rights to grieve pay arrows that I assume employee members do who work under the executive branch. If you work for your money, you deserve to get that money when the pay period ends. And if you don't, there should be a process to urge management to get that corrected in a timely manner. I can say that since 2017, in the state, in the executive branch, this has worked wonderfully. We've been able to get paycheck issues resolved much faster. We would anticipate, the same outcome if we're able to pass this and get those same rights extended to our higher education and transportation members as well. So we also have a member here to testify, and I'll hand it over to her. Good afternoon. My name is Carla O'Brien, and I'm a member of ASME 1297.
I'm a two-time proud graduate of Bowie State University, and I've worked there for over 20 years in building operations. And I'm here to ask for your support in SB 184. On September 1st, 2021, in a conversation with my union rep on campus, I was notified that I was eligible for $1 per hour for shift differential for the hours of student living, which I did not know, and I have been working those hours on and off for years. Management was immediately notified, and by immediate I mean same day, and management acknowledged in writing that they did owe me shift differential. But they dragged their feet. So after numerous times of requesting and reminding of shift differential, December 14th, 2021, I received my first paper for shift differential. That's $80 per pay period, $580 from September 1st to the end of November. And that's my money that I earned, that I worked for. And very illegally, I have withheld my money. And so, the first thing, 184, excuse me, I'm nervous. It's very important for higher education employees like myself because it gives us an avenue to address payroll errors. And if I were able to collect damages like other state employees, I'm quite sure they had taken 3.5 months for them to correct that error. But I thought that they do it because they knew there were no consequences. So, I respectfully ask that you support this HB 184 bill for all state employees. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you to my friend and district for bringing this fun. I guess really great talk. Just curious if y'all had any opportunity to take a look at your son's testimony in support with amendments.
Yeah, I can certainly say my goal wasn't to, further have the grievance procedures between the USM and the state, expand. I mean, we certainly are happy to work with, the thing they pointed was on one of the, the ability to breathe, I think, based on operational staffing. I mean, we want those things to align. So, our goal would be to make them further apart, to make them closer together. So, we're happy to work and work with them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you all for the assistance being with this. Edwards, Felicia Hawkins. That's two favorably with amendments. Chair vote. Carolyn Scott. We'll start with resolution.
Good morning, good afternoon. Can't say how long it's tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members of the committee. I also tell you that I want to point out my delegate, Stephanie Smith, 45. Thank you so much. I'm president of the Maryland State of D.C. And we have a written report. I'll just believe that this bill is a comprehensive and ethical bill to bring equality. And I'll tell you why I think it's common sense, because there's much to do in the first amendment that this is just a the floodgate. But if you really read on page 3, it says notwithstanding the definition of grievance under the current law. And if I have not received my pay, and I'm paid every 2 weeks. So if I'm not supposed to be able to talk about annual levels of wages, which is my pay, if I'm not supposed to talk about the wage filing, which was I get paid every 2 weeks, not once a week, so that's part of my grievance, and I'm not my grievance benefit per day, and it says other broad areas of I'm not allowed to say there was a mistake in financial management and I haven't been paid for 3 days and I'm 6 weeks behind and you still can't get me money, then we're not agreed on. To me, it's common sense. Would you please give a favorable report to House Bill 184? Thank you.
We can move to
Thank you, Chair Warren, Vice Chair Chang, members of the committee. Thank you so much for the opportunity to offer testimony on House Bill 184. I'm Carolyn Skolnick, Associate Vice Chancellor for Policy and Human Resources at the University System of Maryland. The University System of Maryland's long-standing grievance procedure is codified in the Education article of the Maryland Code, and that's a separate statute from the grievance procedure applicable to employees in the state personnel management system. It's also contained in Board of Regents policies. USM employees are not governed by the grievance procedure that state personnel management employees are governed by. The USM grievance procedure provides an opportunity for employees to have their individual concerns appropriately addressed and resolved, including disputes over failure of an institution to pay wages that are due to an employee. The Board of Regents procedures define grievance as a dispute between the employee and the employer on a major personnel action such as suspension, demotion, rejection or probation, and termination from employment, as well as any matter concerning discipline, alleged discrimination, promotion, assignment, or interpretation or application of policy, rules, or procedures over which management has control. There is an exception in the policy which says that there is no grievable issue if the complaint pertains to the general level of wages, wage patterns, fringe benefits, or other broad areas of financial management and staffing. But these procedures that are already in place provide its employee with the right to require the institution to formally address issues relating to that particular employee situation, such as those described. But not the right to challenge state of Maryland, USM, or board decisions, policies, and actions generally. We believe that current procedure appropriately ensures the employee's right to challenge individually, while preserving the Board of Regents' obligation to establish broad policies and the institution's president's authority to make decisions as a CEO of the institution. For that reason, we would support the intent of the bill described by Delegate Solomon, but with appropriate amendments to address the USM's particular rating. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Burns, Vice Chair Chang, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to offer testimony on House Bill 184. My name is Sherry Rojas, and I'm the Director of Labor for the USM office. You have our written testimony, so I'll just make some summary points here. The USM has two main concerns with House Bill 184. First is that it fundamentally alters our definition of a grievance, and it awards damages in an amount of 30% per pay period up to 3 times the amount of wages due. This format just testified with some detail about the existing grievance procedure and the topics currently excluded from that process. The USM is concerned that the language of this bill would allow an employee to file a grievance over practically everything and anything by expanding the definition to include general level of wages and other broad areas of financial management. That means that an employee could grieve a state funding and approved 2% COLA, arguing that the COLA should have been 5%, or dispute the pay structure itself, arguing for a different one. An employee could grieve that an institution should have closed during a snow-related weather event, or dispute staffing levels or the allocation of funds to specific priorities. The grievance possibilities are endless under this bill, with the changes to the language of the grievance procedure under the Education article. A hearing officer would be given the authority to decide these issues at significant cost to the institutions. Institutions need to be able to manage their operations and have some assurances that their budgets are not going to be turned upside down by one employee's grievance. Additionally, House Bill 184 would hold institutions liable for damages over things that they may not have control over, like if there's a glitch with the Central Payroll Bureau system, for example. USM would be happy to engage in discussions over appropriate amendments to this bill. We believe that the intent of this bill can be kept intact with clarifying changes to the USM grievance procedure under the Education article. So we would support this amendment. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm sorry, we also have one additional person who has signed up to testify. I think she may have indicated in opposition, but it really was in support with an amendment.
Okay, welcome.
Good afternoon. I apologize. Just a couple of ago, my voice was not returned to me Sunday feeling in advance. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. To share our share and members of the committee. My name is Lori Hunger, and I'm the Associate Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer for the University of Maryland in Baltimore. And I really do appreciate the opportunity to speak. In the past, we have handled issues regarding whether it's overtime, taxpayers, incarcerate rate calculations, and we always try to resolve employee matters, especially when it comes to pay. And so everybody's shaking their heads when there's issues around pay. When it comes to pay issues at the lowest level, we do feel that our employees are able to sufficiently address personal concerns about pay through our current grievance policy as well as informal avenues of addressing complaints. As an example, we recently dealt with a situation where an employee filed a grievance over the way annual accrual was calculated. We found that it was calculated incorrectly. Incorrectly not just for him, but the entire group of employees. Another example is a complaint from an employee who wanted to return to a lower level position and maintain her salary. Instead of having her salary reduced, even though she was returning to a lower level. After looking into it, we found that she was below others in the same title who were hired around the same time. As a result, even though she moved to a lower level position, we increased her salary to match that of her peers. Again, I just wanted to provide a couple of examples. We've been doing this for 20 years. I just sit here and tell you about all the employee issues that we really try to resolve at the lowest level. We follow the influence of the craft, absolutely, but we do feel like the current grievance procedure, and even those outside of the grievance, just our regular complaint times address this issue.
Clarifying favorable amendments. Any questions for panelists here? Thank you all for testifying. Thank you. See you in a minute. All right, that concludes the hearing on House Bill 184. We're going to move to House Bill 183. Vice Chair Chang. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Appropriations Committee. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present House Bill 183 for personnel, collective bargaining, supervisory, manager, and employees. I feel like everybody is definitely justified, but we're really focusing on getting that state government. We saw a presentation earlier in session about the vacancy rate and really trying to recruit and retain the best talent that we have in our employee base. And that includes those who are in managerial and supervisory positions, which is for them to enable collective bargaining for those non-confidential supervisors and managers who work in state government under the executive branch, also with the university system in Maryland, and other state universities, state managed college in Maryland, and also at the Baltimore City Community College. All these organizations and agencies and institutions, collective bargaining already exist. And with that, those in those non-job supervisor positions to also be part of that. When the collective bargaining was established in the state of Maryland about 2 decades ago, the work environment of culture is changing. And we see about how rates of payers retaining top 10 employees have changed too. And we need to do everything we can. This bill may serve to be able to help keep those employees and to be able to help the managers and supervisors express the different types of work issues they have, the pay and the benefits, and all the types of work environment
ways to be able to get training and resources. Thank you so much for allowing us to present this bill, and we have a series of witnesses who can provide some testimonies.
Hello again, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Dr. Chen, thank you so much for bringing this very important bill forward for us. My name is Denise Taylor, and the legislative director with African Council Free. David had an wonderful job explaining what this bill does again into the labeling legislation. Once this bill passes, the employers will still have to go through a certification process in which, election is held, and they'll, choose the representative they're choosing at that point. One thing I wanted to add is because there is precedent in establishing collective bargaining rights for supervisory and managerial employees, both here in Maryland and nationally. Nationally, ACME has organized supervisory and managerial employees in Connecticut, Michigan, New York, Massachusetts, Washington, New Jersey, California, Minnesota, Hawaii, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, and Florida. With the Maryland, ACME has collective bargaining for some supervisors in Prince George's County, Baltimore City, and Howard County, Maryland. So there's certainly precedent for this. Anything that happens of members when they get promoted, obviously ACME, many of the members get promoted and then they maintain their membership. You're going to hear from several of our members now, so keep it short on that. But we urge further data report on HB 183 to get these hardworking employees collective bargaining rights. Thank you so much. We have one member who is signed up to testify virtually to run the call. If it was possible to start with him virtually. Okay, good. Is it possible to join the call in the waiting room? We have one virtual testifier. I wanted to see if we could try to make this happen. This is your first time having a virtual testimony. Just letting you know. Oh, wonderful.
John, welcome. You're on. I can hear you. 2 minutes, sir. I think you're muted. So you're on. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, thank you so very much for allowing me the opportunity to testify before this committee today. My name is Jerron McCall, and I am an HVAC chief at Morgan State University. I've been at Morgan State University for over 30 years, and I'm very proud to work at Morgan State University. In addition, I'm a very proud member of ACME Council 3, where we fight every day to improve the working conditions for my coworkers and myself. In my job as an HVAC technician, supervisor, or they call me that, but I've never hired anybody, I've never fired anybody because I don't have the authority to do so. So I'll just stick to calling myself a chief, that's like I'm classified to do so. The hiring and the firing that's done at a vice president's level or the president's level. So despite all the hard work and efforts that I put into trying to improve the working conditions here at Morgan, I'm currently excluded from collective bargaining. That means that I do not get the same benefits as my union brothers and sisters who I've so diligently worked with and fought side by side with for many, many years. And I don't think that's right. As a matter of fact, I think it's wrong. This is why I support House Bill 183, so that people like me will have a voice in the collective bargaining process That's why I support House Bill 183, so people like me will have an opportunity to create a better workplace where we have safer environment and working conditions. With collective bargaining, I wouldn't be excluded from my union bargaining team, as I have been so diligently X'd out over the last decade. Well, with collective bargaining, I'll be able to sit across from management, exchange ideas, and do my best to improve the health and safety and working conditions here at Morgan State University. I believe that the workers deserve a voice at the table, and I hope that you agree with me as well. So in closing, I encourage you to please support House Bill 183, and I thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Next time, no Yankees hat, right?
Enjoy the rest of the day. Be safe.
Good afternoon, Committee Chairman Barnes. Thank you, Vice Chair Twain, for submitting the bill. I'm Kyle Reynolds. I'm a lieutenant at Maryland Correctional Institute in Hagerstown. I've been a lieutenant for the last 5 years. I'm currently the midnight day shift duty lieutenant, where I create all the scheduling. I'm also the facility inmate grievance office coordinator, the backup administrative remedy procedures coordinator. I am the tactical team squad A leader, and I'm the regional coordinator for the crisis de-escalation team. I wear a lot of hats. I'm here today to testify in favor of House Bill 183. Supervisors and management across the state need collective bargaining because the previous administration proved us we do when they prevented us from receiving several bargain for raises, and we just had to watch the people below us get that money and nothing come our way. We were considered also exempt for some of the bonuses offered to staff for being members of the teams that we lead and supervise. We're in spite of maintaining the qualifications that the bonuses were for. Many supervisors across the state are now in a position where the employees who supervise routinely make more money than we do, even some without working overtime, which creates a very interesting dynamic. In my facility, I'm one of the 2,000 for overtime because I still only earn it at my regular rate of pay, and any new hires make some time and a half making more than my regular hourly rate because of how early I promoted. I've seen the benefits of collective bargaining. When I was a sergeant, I sat on the bargaining team for Academy Council 3, and one instance that we had was originally when you donated leave to another employee, if they did not use all that leave, it went to the state leave bank, and in 2017 we were able to change that so the leave returned to the original donor. We should not be subject to the whims of an administration. We should be able to negotiate and bargain for what we deserve, for the leadership to hand on the rudder in our departments, and many of us are doing double and triple duty of what we've done in years past because of the staff of crisis our departments all face. We want our departments to succeed. We want our people to be safe and healthy, and we need collective bargaining to ensure those things. I urge you to favor a report for House Bill 183.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, committee members. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for introducing this bill. My name is Stephanie Reed, and I'm a proud ASME member. I'm a social work supervisor at the Howard County Health Department, and I'm asking for your support on House Bill 183. I've worked as a social worker for the Maryland Department of Health for the past 15 years. For the majority of my career, I worked as a social worker at Clifton P. Perkins Hospital Center. In April of last year, I accepted a promotion as a social work supervisor. Prior to becoming a supervisor, I was covered under a collective bargaining agreement. I was able to participate in labor management committee meetings where I worked to address issues across my department before they bubbled up and became larger issues. For instance, when we raised safety and security concerns during the early months of the pandemic, and as well as with hiring and pay parity issues. Now that I'm a supervisor, I've gained even more experience in my profession and as a state employee. But I have less voice now more than ever. I think supervisors and managers have many important perspectives on the whole system, and I think our voice is really helpful in discussions relating to the work that we do and how our agencies can improve. Unfortunately, without collective bargaining, our voices are diminished and our perspectives can be ignored. As supervisors, we're dealing with staffing issues too. We have tremendous workloads and we are covering for vacancies. Our supervisor to supervisee ratios are higher than we'd like them to be, making it difficult to supervise effectively. Sadly, I have no effective way to advocate for better working conditions, and our collective bargaining agreement gives us the voice to effectively advocate for change at work. Please support House Bill 183 to enable collective bargaining for supervisors and managers in the state. I want to be able to advocate with my supervisor peers from across the state for the resources that we deserve. Thank you. Anthony Washington, who's it?
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Washington. I'm a proud member of ASME. I'm a former local union president. I lost my voice. I ask for the support of HB 183. The legislation would enable collective bargaining rights for me and you, my coworkers across the state, who perform great supervisory functions. I'm a field supervisor 1 in the Division of Parole and Probation. Collective bargaining is important to me because we've lost a lot of supervisors because of not being able to retain staff. Not enough is being able to done to retain staff. I know supervisors in parole and probation who have left because there isn't enough transparency around the decisions that are made about our pay and what we're asked to do. When COVID-19 was spreading through our agency, we couldn't get answers to our questions. We couldn't hold our administrators accountable to any health and safety provisions to protect us because there were none. We didn't have a union contract covering us with health and safety rules for everyone to follow. Line staff through collective bargaining are always more informed than we are because they're at the table when the decisions are being made. It seems like everything for us happens behind closed doors. For instance, people are coming in now making what we make with way less time in. These are pay inequities that we have no way of dealing with without a contract. I believe more supervisors would say that they had a seat at the table through collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is about respect. You shouldn't lose your voice, such as I did, just because you get promoted. I urge you to please provide a favorable report on HB 183. Thank you.
Finally, we have our back.
Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Brad Noble, proud ASME member for 22 years. I've worked for Maryland Correctional Training Center in Harrison. My powers include payroll, schedule, administrative duties, fire inspections, audits, supervisor inmates and staff on the floor, and duties external. I don't think it's fair, nor do I think it makes sense. The benefits of being promoted, you're going to lose your rates. You fought hard before you were promoted. Since I became a lieutenant, I've seen CO2s, correctional officers, and wardens get big pay increases, and we do not. I think collective bargaining rates as correctional officers have would help. Collective bargaining rates are important to me. Equal pay for the work I do. The equal opportunity to negotiate. Please support me and my peers statewide who want to become a collective bargaining agreement on Bill 183.
That's another way for us to deal with the questions.
Just very briefly, do you feel that the fact that
folks coming in are probably have less responsibility, and you have more hours and more responsibility. Does that create, basically a problem with the morale of the management versus the younger folks coming in? Because I mean, I've seen that in police departments where that they don't feel that their salaries are fair for what they have to do. So I'm just curious as to
Thank you for your question, Delegate. I think what's really causing a lot of morale issues is the wage compression that's happening, right? I think in order to recruit folks, the state is bringing in folks above base, and then when you do that, anyone who's been there for some time, these employees then come in, right off the street, making as much, or in some cases, as we heard today, more than folks that are there. So I think wage compression is absolutely creating a morale issue, and these folks feel it as much as anybody.
Have the folks that are of the managerial type that see that they're getting, that their morale down, have we seen a significant loss of those employees that they've done? Okay, I'm done. I'm not appreciated.
That's an awesome question. Both questions are awesome. So let me tell you, as a supervisor, I actually approve non-competitive promotions for those who come through our academy. So recently what I do, I don't want to give too much personal information on it, but someone who has less than 5 years has come in from another agency that I had to do a non-competitive promotion for, and now they moved up from the corporate positions, let's say that. And I approximately make only $600 more than that person, and I've been here about 12 years. So from a morale standpoint, yes, we have folks in my agency that are going through that very same thing. Do we want to see those people rise and get where they need to be? By all means, because we want to follow those policies and rules and make that happen. What we're saying, though, is on the back end of that, we are still suffering morale and everything else, even though we're still trying to help them. But we don't have that voice to help ourselves, and I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you all for being here, for educating this committee, whether it's on pay inequities and just for your contributions. I just wanted to clarify the gentleman, the New York Yankee hat, was talking about his role, and it sounded like he was giving some clarification as a supervisor or manager what he does. And I wanted to make it clear because I think it's always good when workers organize and collective bargaining if they so choose. But I also want to make sure when we talk about supervisors and managers, we're being clear about who that is and who we're talking about when we're coming into the bargaining unit. I didn't hear all of it, but to be clear, supervisors and managers, do they have a hire and a fire role? We can clarify that so that we know who's coming into the bargaining unit.
In some instances they may. I think we find a lot of times though they don't. There are a lot of classifications. Like I said it before, we would like to meet with the analysts and do actual over some of these classifications. A lot of times they're not involved in high-level policy, they're not involved in hiring. I do want to just correct one small thing. They wouldn't necessarily, as the bill was written, they wouldn't be going into the same bargaining units as employees that they're supervising. They would maintain a separate bargaining unit. Why that's significant, it's just, in that context, they would pursue their own, collective agreement. They wouldn't necessarily, there wouldn't be a conflict of interest with having, supervisee and supervisor in the same unit. I mean, we've, worked this out in numerous other states that, in counties here in Maryland, they don't necessarily go into the same.
Witnesses, thank you all. Vice Chair. I think with 5 more witnesses lined up that favorable for trying to get qualified into the order. Marcel, Bobby Hoover, Dr.
Just take a look at the witness papers.
Good afternoon, Chairman Bones, Vice President Smith, and the Network of WBC. My name is Kevin, so I am a 17-year-old real estate government. Currently, I have been supervisor of the farm service of case worker for 6 years at the Government Department of Social Services. At the time, I had to prepare this bill. I just wanted to mention just a few things. One of the because of the state employees. With the people and widows and those safe, assured, and working water, clean, educated, students to step around, they work in the state hospitals and other staff trusted and not in foster care. State hospitals are one of the hardest services needed by the government of Maryland. With the new administration that recognizes this problem, coupled with the state legislature and with more digital authority than the federal has, hospitals and regional can begin to reverse these troubling trends. The Maryland General Assembly has passed a budget that was three things. Further finance and American increases state and communication, state employees want to be treated as the professionals we are. Secondly, it would not cut staff. Currently, agencies usually have two of their positions and gone up and down local services in the landscape. We also just want to check the latest for the benefit forecast to show clear employees and prospective job candidates that the record of employees is valued and appreciated by the state. Right now, the state is, the police that I work with, we are working 10 to 12-hour days. You might be looking to people, which means that we are asking for collective bargaining so that those positions, if they cannot be filled, there can be a certain adjustment and collective bargaining so we'll help with that. Thank you. Good afternoon, esteemed committee. My name is Andy Layton. I am a union stockholder at the Maryland Classified Employees Association, or MCEA. I've been working about 3 years now representing mostly supervisor employees, but I've also been organizing in the public sector for coming up on 8 years. I'm really just here to help answer any technical questions, but I also want to make a point about institutional knowledge. Obviously, I think that convinces to me that institutional knowledge in places of employment is important, but what wage compression does, as we discussed, is, lower morale, increases turnover, and keeps people in the plateau as far as their wages go. And, especially now when cost of living has, skyrocketed and people have not fired, that's going to become increasingly important. So, what the supervisors hear is that their institutional knowledge is not valued, and they feel either stuck or they feel they have to move on. I'm going to answer whatever questions come up.
Good afternoon, once again, Donna Edwards, President of the Maryland State and DC AFL-CIO. I would like to let you know that we represent here in the state of Maryland and DC. We represent everything from airline pilots to drivers. We represent some of the people who were the engineers of that when NASA went up and fixed a meteorite. Those are part of our union and part of our state fed. So we represent everyone. So we definitely support any bill that allows worker at any level to form a union if they so please. So this is enabling legislation. That's all it is. It'll go through the same process. It'll have cards. It'll have elections. And if there's any union, they'll have one. And if they don't, so be it. You will not be the first state. So let me just go through that and I'll rattle it off. Connecticut, Louisiana, and New York already have supervisors included, and they're included in the same unit. But you also have California, Florida, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Vermont, and that's what we found in Alaska. So you will not be the first state to allow this. And I thank you all for the attention that you've given all of these bills all afternoon. If ever you all collectively want to join and form a union, please contact me. Thank you, and I ask for a favorable report on House Bill 183.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is for the gentleman on the right. Which was the organization you said you represented in? It's the Non-Classified Employees Association. Well, some of the state statute is classified and confidential, different. So, The American Classified Employers Association is an ancient one. We were the first public sector union in the state of Maryland starting in 1935. So the name isn't quite apt as it is. Mostly, something that's unique about our union is we can sign up to anybody, nearly anybody that gets a state paycheck. But we do have specific bargaining units all over the state.
One reason I ask is because based on the bill, it still said that supervisor employees who are not confidential employees, you stated I was wondering if there was some type of distinction because if they are almost the same, there's still certain folks who would never be the employees who cross the defense, and just making sure that was.
They really focused on supervisors, whether confidential or non-confidential, but it's something that gets sorted out in the future. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. Supervisors, Vice Chair Kim, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to offer our testimony on House Bill 183. My name is Carrie Rojas. I'm the Director of Labor for the U.S. Office. My colleagues are here with me as well to offer some additional information and thoughts on this bill. House Bill 183 will have a significant negative impact on USM and its institutions. The bill goes against long-standing precedent which leads to inherent conflict of interest. Currently, the state collective bargaining statute specifically restricts collective bargaining rights from extending to supervisory, managerial, or confidential employees. These exclusions have been in place for over 20 years and were established by design. These exclusions are consistent with the exclusions under the National Labor Relations Act, which is the federal collective bargaining law applicable nationally to both federal employees and employees in the private sector. Excluding supervisory and managerial employees from collective bargaining is well-reasoned and makes good business sense. Supervisors and managers function as an extension of management. They have the authority to speak for management, and they have the authority to act for management. They are expected to create and implement management policies and advance management's priorities. They're also responsible for making personnel decisions and holding employees accountable, including through their position of disciplinary action. They must be able to exercise independent judgment. And that is something that they may not be able to do if facing pressure from their peers or an exclusive representative if a part of a bargaining unit. Creating such an inherent conflict of interest through expansion of collective bargaining rights to these groups would improperly hinder the effective and efficient operations of the institutions. And in my written testimony, I've also provided the established definitions of supervisory and managerial that the Board of Regents has established for the University System of Maryland, and you'll see that these definitions are very specific in terms of the duties that employees have to be performing to be excluded under these exclusionary provisions. For all of these reasons, and as you'll hear from my colleagues, the USM respectfully asks for an unfavorable report on House Bill 183. Thank you.
Chair Burns, Vice Chair Kim, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to offer testimony on House Bill 183. Again, I'm Carolyn Skolnick, Associate Vice Chair for the University System of Maryland. This bill will likely have a substantial impact on the USM institution's operations. It would impact frequent and routine management decision-making and impair the university's ability to carry out their goals and mission through supervisory and management officials. Under existing law, each institution president has a legal right to determine the number, types, and grades of employees to hire, direct, supervisors, and to sign and to take other actions that are necessary to carry out the university's mission. These statutory management rights are critical for a business government entity where universities operate. The vehicle through which any employer exercises these management rights is through supervisors and managers. This role is specifically designed to act on behalf of the employer. By providing supervisors and managers with collective bargaining rights, This bill creates a conflict of interest that would interfere with the university's ability to carry out every management right granted to the institutions under the law. For example, the supervisors and managers in a university finance office are negotiating with the university over wages. They would have a personal incentive to advocate for additional wages, even though that might create a budgetary issue that the finance department has a responsibility to guard against. In this and other life situations, supervisors and managers would have to choose between the university's interests and their own interests. What conflicts would be frequent and unavoidable given the routine nature in which universities exercise their monitor rights. For example, in hiring and signing working supervisors. This could impact every aspect of the university's ability to effectively operate. For these reasons, we respectfully support an unfavorable report on House Member Ainsley. Thank you very much.
My name is Mold Mendez. The Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer for the University of Baltimore. I just wanted to echo the sentiments of my colleagues who were here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your testimony. I just wanted to go back to what's your name? The young lady in the middle. Yes. Thank you. You mentioned in your testimony that creation, with the passage of this bill, collective bargaining, will essentially occupy and managers to advocate for more, even though it may not necessarily be within the budgetary framework. So we all are budgets for public, right? We all put out, the state has, the USM, various institutions get. And if it's not in the budget, I'd imagine that folks would see that. Right? Because we all look at the public, we all look at the budget when it comes out. We all know what institutions get, including, managers and folks and administrators at your institution. Would you agree with that?
We certainly know what the budget is wanted to have. I think during collective bargaining, we're often talking about the future with some chance of influencing what the budget might be, depending on what's agreed to on the bargaining session.
And so let's say for the fiscal year, a certain amount was allocated to an institution. I think folks know this. Is announced. And they know how much is allocated for administration, salaries, etc. Right? That will account for that amount that was given to the institution. Would you agree then that, if someone were to see the amount that the institution was given, what there is the salaries, that they would certainly understand that, this is the constraints within which I can advocate for myself and my colleagues?
Well, I think the issue really is that the supervisor and managerial employee will be running two hats in this kind of arrangement if this bill passes. They would have divided loyalties. They would have on one hand the loyalty to advocate on behalf of employees. At the same time, as part of management, they have the obligation to speak for management and protect management priorities and issues. So that's really, I think, the basic objection that the USM has to this bill that come out of the bill.
I get the conflict of interest. I guess for me, it was in testimony, it was sort of suggesting that, they would advocate for more, even if those funds aren't there. And look, we all see budgets, what's in the budget, the institutions get, and folks advocate for things. I mean, it's not like they don't necessarily know how much money the institution has gotten that was allocated. And so, wanted to point that out, I don't think collective bargaining necessarily contributes to that, but budgets are certainly public, right? And folks can see that. But I appreciate the testimony and thanks for the indulgence.
Mr. Chair, it's good to see you guys. Thank you for testifying.
I kind of want to follow up on my colleague's question a little bit. But I guess the question I have is focused on, you said that particularly supervisors are extension of management. But in your HR system, I mentioned they're categorized differently. Management typically often at will. And the supervisors at will?
No, so if the higher levels, it's talking about executives, those are the ones that are at will, or reports to the president, but with our supervisors and managers, those are not. Right, yes. So, under Board of Regents policies, exempt employees are considered at will, but they can be terminated under, if they're given a period of specific notice based on the length of time that they've been working for the university. For example, if they've been with the university 7 years, they're entitled to a year's notice unless there's cause for termination. Non-exempt employees can only be terminated for cause. So the supervisors and managers that we're talking about are in the same category as far as their rights regarding termination as other exempt employees are.
So most supervisors are categorized as exempt as opposed to non-exempt.
Correct. Right. Non-exempt employees are typically hourly workers who are eligible for overtime payments under the Fair Labor Standards Act.
And these supervisors and managers, do they ultimately hire the people who are reporting to them? I know there's some conversation ideally to promote, but do they have the ability to fire?
They would definitely be involved in any recommendation. Most institutions require approval of a termination at a certain level, and it's usually a fairly high level. It's typically the president, or the president would delegate that authority often to the chief human resources officer and so, yeah, and that is so that does go down to the directors. So if there is a recommendation coming from the supervisor, as mentioned earlier, some of our managers are those that manage programs, not necessarily people, but those that are managing people. They do have that authority, so determination is often made with consultation and the authority of the directors of those programs.
So technically, they recommend hiring, they don't make the decision. So hiring, they recommend.
So the directors of the right, but they typically would be very involved in any discussion, and usually if it's a for-cause termination, that would be preceded by efforts to help the employee improve, for example, by putting them on an improvement plan, and the direct supervisor would be very involved in helping to create that plan and monitor the employee's improvement against that plan. Thank you very much.
That concludes the hearing on House Bill 183. Now, please House Bill 108, Dr. Severa, who is with us. Okay. As I would also aside, we do know on the other bill that you were stuck in judiciary with that, and I know that you've been talking to staff in the committee. So with that, we're going to let you still have another bill here, and just know that we can let you at the end of this hearing say a couple of words on the bill.
Appreciate that, Mr. Chair, and let me just say I now understand why former members of the judiciary describe themselves as escapees, because they yes, I was stuck in judiciary, but I appreciate the indulgence, Mr. Chair, to speak on that bill very quickly, but I will say on the bill that, could have been presented, House Bill 89, which is the creation of the Maryland People's Fund. It's essentially a social wealth fund that's part of our estate tax that would allow the state treasurer to essentially oversee investing funds as they usually do in portfolios, proceeds from which the hope is that we would use to provide cash assistance to Marylanders, starting with low folks, and the goal is to expand that, but focus being on low-income Marylanders. I'll say really quickly that the average American, really Marylander, cannot afford a $500 more unexpected bill, and this is intended to provide that additional cushion of support to Marylanders who would need that support in order to provide for their basic needs. We all saw the benefits of direct cash assistance to all of our constituents. I don't care where you live in the state, your constituent got, a STIMI, as we call it, or direct cash assistance that allowed them to provide for their basic needs, whether it's housing, utilities, groceries, etc. And we saw the impacts of that, the benefits of it, by allowing for a people's fund, a social wealth fund that would allow for those investments. Also, 89 would provide their cash assistance to all of our constituents, regardless of your zip code, to ensure that they're able to meet their basic needs. And so with that, Mr. Chair, I will ask for a favorable report. Appreciate that. And then the other bill that is before you, colleagues, is House Bill 108, certainly related. It's universal basic income, but it's universal basic income specifically for kids, youth transitioning out of our foster care system here in Maryland. And the goal is to provide youth at a very crucial age with direct cash, unconditional direct cash assistance in the amount of $1,000 each month. So that they're able to not just provide for themselves, but we know during that time they certainly face, a lot of challenges as it relates to housing, as it relates to employment. This direct cash assistance would ensure that our kids transitioning out of foster care get the support that they need. I don't need, as I mentioned earlier, the importance of direct cash assistance. What we're doing is essentially ensuring that our youth, our foster care youth, are able to thrive. And so with that, I ask for a favorable report. I will also point out, I know that there was a letter of information submitted by a coalition of groups certainly interested in the bill. Important to point out that it is a letter of information, and that I'm certainly open to some of the points that they raised, including that in the privilege as provisions in the bill. I'll ask for a favorable report, and thank you again. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Delegate. Any questions on House Bill 108? Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Appreciate it. That concludes our business today. Committee, we do have a time change tomorrow with the state of the state. Our bill hearings or overview hearings are moved to 2 o'clock. We'll be back here at 2 o'clock, and subcommittees will be at 4. See you tomorrow at 2. Thanks.